Hey guys, welcome back to the channel where we're checking out a video titled Pregnant Women's Thoughts about the NHS, American in England. Without further ado, we're not going to waste any time. We're going to just get right into this video right now. If you have any recommendations, click that link in the pinned comment section. You can recommend videos. I'll check them out as soon as possible. Without further ado, let's get right into this video.
Hi guys, my name is Danielle, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about my personal experiences with the NHS since moving to England and comparing it a little bit with my experiences in the USA with that healthcare system. Our family does have exciting news. I am expecting our second child and we are so excited. Our first child we had while we were still living in the USA, and we are planning to have our second child here in England. Most of my experiences with the NHS so far have been limited to pregnancy-related things. Full disclosure, in the USA and here, I don't really love hospitals, I don't love doctors, I don't love appointments, and I kind of avoid them at all costs. Even when we first got here, Matthew immediately registered with a GP, just like you're supposed to. I put it off because I knew myself and I said, there's no way I'm ever going to go to the doctor here. But then baby happened. Just so you know, that is where I'm coming from. I'm not a huge fan of doctors, but here I am, enjoying the hospitals. I feel like I could put a million different caveats here, but essentially, boiling it all down, I know that NHS is so important and it's very precious, and I don't want to hurt it in any way. I am just going to limit this video as best as I can to simply my own experiences. This is not an in-depth analysis of either healthcare system. I just want to get that out of the way right now. However, I do know that I'm entering a really touchy area. Please feel free to use the comment section to describe how horribly I am portraying either or both systems. So let's start off with just some general things I've observed. In the US,
The first thing is, like, she's not a doctor, she's not a nurse, she's a patient. She is a user of either healthcare system. So if anyone would be offended about her experiences in terms of on her behalf, they're like, oh yeah, you're saying something that is wrong, or like, it just makes no sense because she's sharing her experiences. She's not telling you, in depth about, the details of the each one of these organization or healthcare systems, because the reality is only a person who is in charge of the healthcare system can give you correct information, right? We can only share our experiences. So I'm not mad about nothing she says.
A really touchy area. Please feel free to use the comment section to describe how horribly I am portraying either or both systems. So let's start off with just some general things I've observed. In the USA, generally speaking, when you walk into a hospital, it feels cold. Not just clinical and sterile, but also cold. Like you layer, you bring sweaters and jumpers and just the whole thing. One of the first things I noticed here was walking into the hospital and it felt warm. I was taking off layers of clothing to be comfortable in the waiting room. Because I'm pregnant, another thing is just it's extra warm in the maternity ward where I go to visit my midwife. I know they have to keep it really warm to keep the babies warm, but I feel like I'm going to be sweating this next baby out. Another thing I noticed, and it may be this way in the USA and I just never noticed, but walking into our local hospital here, there are so many different colors of scrubs. And there are even posters on the wall displaying like how each color is a different role. And I thought that was so cool.
I did not know that.
I spent a lot of time studying that chart, over the course of many appointments. I just think it's so fun being able to point different colors out and know, I know what that person does. This is again coming from my own personal experiences, but after giving birth to our first child, I had some genetic funness kind of just jump in. I was diagnosed with a thyroid disorder, which has been really, really fun. But one of the complications that comes with that is my thyroid needs to be regulated and checked when I'm pregnant. And so this has been the first pregnancy where that would be an issue. I can't speak for every hospital, but one of the most amazing things has been my OB and my endocrinologist meet with me at the same time in the same room for each of my doctor appointments, like my appointments with my consultant. And it's awesome. They both take turns talking to me, they hear each other speak, they both give me different kinds of advice, and they're constantly comparing notes, and it's amazing. That kind of togetherness and communication is so awesome. Whereas in the USA, I've never actually heard of that happening. I would be going to a completely different section of the hospital in order to talk to my endocrinologist, and on a completely separate day, I'd be talking to my...
Being so real with you, I don't think I've ever seen two medical professions. And be mindful, I'm not the guy with the most medical experiences because I don't ever go to the hospital or a doctor. I just don't. I'm not trying to be a jerk, but they're probably the most useless people that I've ever met in my entire damn life. Outside of outside of me being born, like literally every time when I go to a doctor, I have very bad experiences. And not to, put Finland in the blend, but yeah, I've had my fair share of, oh God, I hate medical moments in Finland. Like even right now, there's something going on with my wrist, and I'm not getting no good conversations happening. So I just have terrible experiences with medical people. Ugh. Arr, I hate it. I hate it. I wish I didn't, but it's just the truth.
OB. And even though they might be comparing notes and reading over each other's notes, it's not in the same room. They're not talking together with me. So I think that's been really, really amazing. Another difference has been just in how appointments are scheduled. Here at the end of my appointment, I'm given a sheet of paper from my doctor saying, I want to meet with you in 8 weeks or 6 weeks. And I bring that to a desk, I hand it to them, and then I go home. And then about a week later, I receive a letter in the mail telling me when my appointment is scheduled. It's kind of cool that all of my appointments are sent to me in the mail, but it is different from what I'm used to. Normally, I would have the next appointment scheduled right away, or I would call and make that appointment and I would know right away.
All the time.
But
yeah.
Waiting a week for the letter, it hasn't been bad, it's just different. As far as differences in cost, we all generally know the US healthcare system is a mess.
Pricey.
You need health insurance in order to cover medical costs. And most Americans, the vast majority of Americans, do have health insurance, but it can still be really expensive. Most people think the NHS is completely free, which is sort of true. The NHS is primarily funded by taxes, and you pay into your taxes and then you don't really have to worry about it. And for immigrants, people who move here, like us, we pay a health surcharge, which is basically a lump sum for each person coming over. So for us, that would be Matthew, me, and our daughter. And that gives us access to healthcare while we're here for that year. For the entire family to have access to that healthcare, it is quite expensive. It's comparable to giving birth in the USA, like the cost of that. But the wonderful thing is we don't have to worry about it for the rest of the year. Any health issues that go awry for any member of our family, we don't have to worry because we've already paid that lump sum at the beginning.
The reality is, though, coming from a guy who is immigrant as well, the reality is when you really evaluate the situation, most people, this is why there's two folds to immigration, right? And I've always said this, immigration is great and immigration is bad. And immigration is misunderstood times a million, right? Because there are bad immigrants, that are out there who, come to a country and just abuse and do all kinds of nonsense, right? And then there are immigrants who actually do come to a country and they come there legally or whatever. And, they're doing what they need to do to survive. And there are many things that people of that country don't really know that they go through, because I would have never known that they had to pay a sum of cash to go through such and such and such a situation. I don't have to pay that in Finland, right? Obviously, you have to pay taxes and you have to pay all those other necessary things, right? But the reality is, when I moved to Finland the first time, and I went to a hospital and I realized I got a bill for $600, I was like, oh shit, So what y'all was telling me wasn't real. And that was just a visit to the hospital, right? Not to the hospital, but to the doctor. It was just a visit to ask, hey, what's going on with my back? Like, and yeah, that was one of the bad experiences that I have, because the answers that I got were just made no sense. At the end of the day, I really think that the biggest differences between both are simply finances. Like, I would choose the NHS over a lot of healthcare systems out there if those healthcare systems are, dominant. It requires a lot of insurance to get by easily. Or in the case of a severe situation, I have to pay a huge medical bill. Like, the reality is, taxes is a beautiful thing, and when you pay taxes and it goes towards, your ability to, go to the doctor one day, it's a beautiful thing, right? So I could never, root against that. It's a beautiful thing in my humble opinion, and I think the NHS has that over the American healthcare system. It's a beautiful, structured healthcare system in a sense where tax covers, the funds, right? So I think it's great. But obviously, with both healthcare systems, they're both professionals, and you're gonna have different experiences, wait times, and so on and so forth. And some of these things, it's not because it's America or it's the UK. It's because some of us are just not fortunate enough to, you know, have to wait too long or not waiting at all. So it's really just experiences at the end of the day that makes a lot of differences between these healthcare systems. But at the end of the day, I think what's most important is just that one will leave you bankrupt if you're broke, and one will not. Anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Go check out the original video. Link will be in the description and in the pinned comment section, so you can check out the original video. Either ways, guys, thank you for watching this video. I'm out of here. Peace.